Hi, Jesse with etrailer. Today we'll be taking a look at and I'll show you how to install the Carr custom fit side steps on our 2019 Ford F-150. These are going to be a great option for you if you're maybe having issues getting in and out of your truck. They're going to make it a lot easier. Similar to running boards, except they don't run the full length like a running board would. But as you can see, it's going to be a lot easier to take a step in and get into the driver's seat of our truck today. I really like these. I think they're made of high quality material. They're aluminum alloy and they have a nice coating with matte black powder coat finish. So our entire super hoop here is 20 inches long. The usable stepping space is 17.5 inches by 5 inches. And the weight capacity on this is 500 pounds. Just to give you a better view of how much easier it is to get into this truck with the step added on. The height that we have to step to the step is 10.5, as opposed to without the step, we would be stepping up 22 inches. So we're basically cutting that distance in half. As far as the install goes, it's a pretty simple process. However, if it's not something you're looking to do yourself, maybe you don't have the space or the time to do so, feel free to check out our dealer locator. If this is something you're looking to do yourself, feel free to follow along and I'll show you how we set up ours today. The first step of our install will be to install our brackets onto our step. We're just kind of mocking them up for now. So we'll just make sure that it's facing this way. Slide our long bolt through and we'll just hand tighten the nuts for now. We're just doing this so that we can get it up into place and kind of figure out where our brackets are going and we can mark where our holes will be drilled. Now we're over here on the passenger side. The driver's side process is the same. We'll just repeat everything over there. But with the door open, what we're aiming for is to have the center of our step right lining up with the front of the seat here. So what we do is we just kind of make a line, just kind of eyeball it. And then on the pinch weld, I'll make a mark. And again, that's just what we're aiming for. That's just the most optimal spot for our seat to be to get in and out of the truck. Now we'll take our marker and eyeball where we put that line on the outside and put a mark on the inside just as a frame of reference. And then we'll take our step and we'll just have to find a good spot on the body of the truck where we're not hitting anything. Like you'll see these ridges and these little welds here. Just trying to find a nice spot where our brackets will line up best so that we don't have to worry about this step ever failing in the future. So I'll work on finding our spot here, and once we find it, we'll make marks with our marker where the top holes will go, and we'll take these brackets back off. On this regular cab truck, there's really not a lot of options for us, so we're not quite as close to center as I want it to be, but I would rather err on the side of it being structurally sound over trying to get it completely centered perfectly. But this is the best spot, I think. So what I'll do is mark both sides of our brackets, and then I'll take this down, I'll take the brackets off, and then I'll show you how to drill the holes. We'll take our brackets, get it lined back up where we had it, and take our center punch and punch the center of this hole. And we repeat the process with the rest of them. We'll take a 1/8 drill bit and drill out some pilot holes. When we're drilling these, just make sure you have the door open. It's going to make it easier once we get on the other side. So drill through here. There's multiple layers there, so if this starts to bend out on you, you may have to come on this side and drill back. Now we'll step those holes up to a 5/16. Now since we exposed some bare metal, we'll want to cover that up with some paint. You could also use nail polish or something like that, but I'll just take a rattle can to it. Now we're ready to mount our brackets, at least with the bottom bolt. So we'll take our shorter bolt, a washer, our lock nut, and a washer. Slide that bolt through from the outside in. We did kind of wait for this paint to dry before we did this. Get that into place. Slide that washer on and get that nut. Now we'll take a 1/2 inch socket and wrench and tighten these down. We're just going to make them snug for now. We may need to make some adjustments later. I just like to get them snugged up so they're not moving around while we're drilling our second hole. Once we have those tightened down, I did have to make some adjustments just because one of them wasn't straight. So I just kind of stand back and make sure they look pretty straight to you. And now we're just going to drill a hole through the center of that top hole in the bracket. You can use a center punch again, but it's not super necessary. Well, we're just going to drill a 1/8 inch hole. So now with these brackets mounted up, you may notice there's a big gap on the top hole. I think that's what these sleeves are for here. But you'll notice these sleeves are a little too long. So what I'm going to do is take a multi-tool, you could also use a Dremel or something, and just cut that down, then test fit it and keep cutting it down until it fits. We're going to want a nice tight fit. But I'm going to get that process done now. We'll do that for the rear one and the front. Now for the top bolt, I've actually had issues with the sheet metal screws that are included breaking on me, so I'm going to use some higher quality self-tappers. If you feel comfortable with it, you could just use the sheet metal screws, but I have our spacer in there and our hole drilled out, so this should go in pretty easy. Get that tight. At this point, we're ready to get our step into place. So just lift it up into our brackets using our long screws with a washer. Get these holes lined up. I'm just going to leave that there for now so I can get this front one on. Now we'll tighten our hardware down. These bolts and nuts are 11 millimeters, so you'll need a socket and a wrench. Now we have everything tightened down. We'll just have to repeat that process on the driver's side. Otherwise, that's going to do it for our look at and installation of the Carr custom fit side steps on our 2019 Ford F-150.